Hello, and welcome to Shamrock Talk, the internet's number one mother-son Celtics podcast. I'm your host, Jake Olin, here once again with my mother, Karen Olin.
Hello.
Apologies for the delays in the playoffs here. I've been traveling. I seem to have major life events going on when the playoffs happens 2 years in a row now. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I should be planning my life around this podcast more. I understand that. But we're
It's
back.
okay.
We are back and the Celtics are in the finals. We haven't potted basically for the whole I believe we did an Eastern Conference preview, but then we haven't done any pods since. So um yeah, let's get into it. We'll take it game by game a little bit. I don't have any notes. I was in New York for the first one, and then I flew in, and I was jet lagged for the second game. But obviously I've watched them all, but I wasn't very podcast focused. So um,
Game by game, I'm unprepared. I just did the
no,
last
me
game.
me too. We can kind of yeah. We don't have to go too in depth.
We could talk in
Um,
general, but
yeah. We'll do game by game just real quick, and then kind of just general. We'll do a little obituary for the Pacers series in the Eastern Conference Finals. But first game was the Jaylen Brown shot,
overtime.
overtime win. Come back and forth, but come from behind victory at the end there. And yeah, that shot was really the story of the game. I mean, um, obviously I think definitely contributed to his winning of the I think well deserved player of the series Larry Bird award. But anything you can remember from that game you want to comment on?
Yeah, no, I think the big take was, or the big controversy was whether that was a planned play by Missoula and was that well thought out that they were going to receive the ball so
Hmm.
quickly that they'd get a shot off before the foul.
Yeah.
Um, And then going back to the Pacers, were they going to commit that foul right away? So they only got two shots. So I think that was
Yeah.
the biggest conversation about that game. Um, Along
Well,
with
well,
Poor
well.
Jason
The funny
Tatum, who is
part,
just always ripped apart for something.
yeah. Well, that's the funny thing. People kill Tatum. Then I look at his stat line. Like, it's not that, obviously box score watching. It felt worse in the game, but um, he didn't shoot terribly well, but um, box score watchers will give him credit. He was plus 20, best on our team. But the funny part about that shot is he like pump fakes the first one when he's like more open, and then Turner kind of gets on him, and then he elevates over and hits what was probably the tougher shot.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think he just got it so fast to go up with the shot. It was like
yeah,
so spontaneous that, and if you're really thinking, I think that if they could go back in time for that game, they would have fouled him because would he have made all three?
yeah,
Right? Lately, he's been missing at least one of those three.
yes,
Um, so yeah, it just was very interesting. And
yeah.
afterwards, he
Also,
was
yeah,
saying
his
he
only
tried
three of the
not to
game.
foul him on that first one, and then he was kind of into him on the second one. So yeah, but great shot. He made it. Gotta love that he's willing to take those shots, and that we didn't put it in Tatum's hand again to take a even worse
Well, I
shot
mean,
because
oof,
they're guarding him.
yeah, and his 3-point shooting's just been brutal. I mean,
Abysmal. I like to call it
oof,
abysmal. Yeah, it's been
yes,
bad.
it is not good at all.
No.
Um, all right, so game two, I mean, we don't really. This one was not very eventful. Halliburton get hurt. That's probably the big story. Celtics had a pretty comfortable lead. Um, kind of third quarter kind of busted it wide open and cruised to victory at home in that one. Jaylen Brown sensational again. Um, this is when Tatum really was taking the most heat, I think, after this game. And second one where he kind
These
of
were the ones where I think he was out of it a little bit.
Yeah,
like
he stunk this
almost
game. The first
the
half especially, he
camera
really
view for a
stunk.
couple of rebounds, he just was standing there. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know, like
agreed.
he was
Just
out of it.
defensively, he was, yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah, a little
bizarre.
out of,
First half especially. Second half he kind of got going, but
yeah,
first half was like
exactly.
he was like a minor he was like borderline unplayable in the first
Yeah,
half. It was
yeah.
crazy.
I wasn't sure what was going on with him, but
Yeah.
something was not quite right with him. He just didn't look like himself, which happens
Um,
to everybody. I mean, I know what
yep.
happened to me in the finals, so
Mm-hmm. All right, game three. My favorite game of the series. One of my favorite games, I would say, of the we'll call it the Jays era. I just it's not I mean, we talk about, close games in the Celtics all the time, but I think, an underrated part of close games is not even when we're close, like this game when we're down and down, double digits,
and they
we
claw
we
back.
just panic in the game. It just feels so out of kind of control um and panicky. And I mean, it was like not the case at all. I mean, the
No.
execution down the stretch was unbelievable. It's like we were playing like we were up 18, which is what you should do when you're
Yes.
down 18. And I couldn't believe the execution that led to the comeback and eventually kind of what felt like stealing a victory in Indiana to go up 3-0.
Now, granted, Halliburton was out. We'll give him
Yeah,
that.
of course. I mean, trust
Um,
every ESPN show and every commentator makes sure that everybody knows
yeah,
that the Celtics have been playing hurt teams. It's like,
yeah. But I
oh,
will say, I think their offense, the ball moved better without him at times than similar to when one of our star players, whether
yeah,
Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown are out, or even sitting on the bench, the ball moved and, everybody's game
yeah.
was just better. I mean, they
Well, they
played,
also,
I thought, extremely well that game.
yeah. I mean,
They really did.
they couldn't
The
miss. I mean,
Pacers,
they're playing
yes,
out
the
of their
Pacers
minds.
played very
Siakam was
well.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Nemhard,
Nebhart,
Turner,
Nebhart. Yep.
McConnell. I
Yep.
mean, all their
No.
guys stepped up big time, and
Yeah. No, I thought they
um,
played it extremely well, and their offense is fun to watch. It really
yeah,
is. They move the ball well. They trust each other. They, most of their shots are open shots because they move the ball so well. So, it's fun game to watch. And you're right. We seemed calm. Maybe because we were up 2-0, but we seemed
yeah.
calm coming back.
Well, I right before we were on the pod, I was just um doing some review to check some talking points. Like you go to the fourth quarter of this game and they're all assisted baskets.
Yeah,
Jason,
the
like
ball moved
all our,
well.
yeah, a couple of free throws at the end, but all of our live ball baskets. Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum assist. Al Horford, Jason Tatum assist. Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown assist. Drew Holiday, Derek White assist. Al Horford, Derek White. I mean, just the way we just
Yeah, I
we
think
we
I
played
remember
like
we
a
played like the
team, a
Pacers.
veteran team that's been there before. No, you know who we played like is the Nuggets when they just
Pats,
keep
yes.
going
The ball
and
moving,
keep
yes, yes.
like
Whoever,
there's no
yeah, moves the
panic. It's you
ball
run
a
your
little better.
offense game after game, you find the best shot no matter what
Yeah,
the score is, get the best shot, play the same way whether you're up 18, down 18, close game, just move the ball and play your offense. And um and it's funny, we talk about all these games who panicked and looked like the inexperienced team that we've seen from the Celtics the whole time was the Pacers. I mean, how many
yeah,
times from a Celtics point of view have you seen you play so well down the stretch and you just,
yeah.
and being on the other side of that coin finally uh is encouraging and exciting.
Well, being home, having the home crowd, feeling like you're on your way to winning, and then slowly watching it slip away.
Yeah.
We've been there.
Oh yeah. But then,
Not
but then
not an
again,
easy place.
the not even just being there, but just the execution down the stretch where it's like, what are these guys doing? I mean, a
Yeah,
lot of time, especially we can kind of shift to game four, the closeout game, just kind of shooting yourself in the foot, and
I know.
um,
But again,
yeah, just
Halliburton is their point guard, so, or their
Yeah.
main
I
guard.
mean, again, to be fair, Nemhard was out of his mind both games he missed.
I
It
think
was
he was
like,
excellent, but I think that also
looked like
goes, I mean,
Halliburton out there.
Halliburton had, he assists a lot of plays. He
Oh
handles the ball
yeah.
a
I
lot.
mean,
And
obviously,
I
when you're
think
missing
that
your best player.
handling the ball is more
Mhm.
difficult. So even if it's not the shooting percentage, I mean, they were shooting very well. It was a close game, fourth game.
Yeah.
But missing your ball handler, I think, lends to messing up in those final moments, right? That
Sure.
calmness, that,
Agreed.
routine, that,
Yep.
um, so anyway, yeah. Game 4.
Um, well, just to I guess to put a cap on game 3, to give credit
Mhm.
where credit was due, I thought Tatum was amazing this game.
Agreed. 100.
He was
Yes.
so good, just making the right
Mhm.
play.
Yeah.
Again, when he's the guy making the right play, everything just like the other guys follow along and everything
Yes.
hums to, I mean, just wasn't forcing a lot of shots. 8 assists, 10, almost a triple double. I just thought he was fantastic.
Yes. I 100% agree. It was a completely different game than, even though we were
Yeah,
down, it was a
night and day.
completely different game for him from the second
Yes,
game.
agreed.
He rose to the challenge, and he did in game 4. I thought that again, one of his, I mean, and his shooting percentage was not great in game 4, but again, his level of intensity, the rebounds that he ripped down, he just, I thought, the last couple games made the right play a lot more,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, agreed.
and was again ripping down the rebounds, which he wasn't doing earlier in the first 2 games. He, when he
Hmm.
wasn't shooting well, it was almost, he wasn't yelling at the refs, which is something I think he's done a lot better with. I will give him credit for that. He is not screaming at the refs anymore, because I think he realizes in the playoffs they're not calling everything that they
No, it's physical.
typically call. This is the way it's going to be. So, and he has
Yeah,
adjusted to that. But I thought his intensity was great in game 4 as well, because again, he wasn't shooting outstanding. His
no, I mean,
percentages
still
were not outstanding.
the
Yeah.
the 3-point percentage is
Yes.
ugly to look at. And it has been,
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, this is kind of who he's been for a lot of the year now.
I agree.
Um,
I think he had those games that, like I said, he shot 60% or 70, that kind of pushed his percentage up from the abysmal
he's just very
20% games.
streaky. Yeah.
Yes. But his playoff percentage of 3 has not been very high. And the only reason I
Yeah.
think that I bring that up, he almost had a triple double in this game as well. So it isn't like he is playing poorly, but I
No.
do like the fact that in a close game, like the last game, Jaylen Brown, the second game, Jaylen Brown, no, third game, Jaylen Brown took the overtime game. Jaylen
First
Brown
game.
took the
That's
shot.
one. That's the first
First
one.
game, sorry. Jaylen Brown took the shot. And that's kind of what I think needs to happen. We need to start thinking about other people on the team that can take that in tight games, because going forward in these finals, they're going to be tight games.
Yeah.
And
Well, why
should
don't you
he
play
be
the hot
taking the
hand?
3?
You know,
Yes.
Derek White's
Should he be taking the 3-point shot?
Derek
No.
White's 7 for 9 from 3. Let's get him the ball, because
Yes.
just
Yeah.
play like a team. That's what we do.
Yes.
That's when we're
Yes.
at our best, and that's when we're borderline unbeatable all season, is when we,
Yes.
everyone's a threat. And that's kind of, that's what you've built this team around, is everyone's a threat.
Yeah.
There's no liabilities out there. Yeah, so just to kind of wrap up game 4, yeah, I actually, again, not that we need to bash Tatum anymore here. The last shot, I was losing my mind.
So there's the last few shots. There were a couple of them that.
No, but the last shot where Drew Holiday gets the rebound, the offensive rebound, thankfully, I'm sitting next to Claudia watching the game. I'm like, he's gonna take a 3. I'm like, we need 2 points. Get to the bed. Like, he's gonna take a 3. What? Like,
Yes, agreed.
oh,
And that I think what goes back to a close game and the playoffs, and now with the finals coming, he's got to get out of that mindset. You cannot be taking a 3 with the percentages that you have now. And I don't care. I mean, Missoula, that's part of being a leader of a team, is realizing, you know what? perhaps my 3-point shot is not the highest percentage. Take it into the hoop.
But it's not even
Take the
that for
shot.
me. Like, he has to take some threes because, you can't let them sag off him and not shoot. I mean, if he's open, he should shoot the ball.
Yes,
Um, but that's just situational basketball.
that's what
You're
I'm
up
saying. At
three
the end of a
points.
close game, close, yeah,
You
yeah,
need one, you really need 1 point. You get a foul shot, you won the game because they're only
yes,
going to get one opportunity.
yes.
Just drive to the basket
Mhm.
and get fouled. Or I was screaming again. Claudia was like, "Why are you like so frustrated with him?" It's like because he had this dunk like a few plays earlier where he just went hard to the hoop and just
Yes,
slammed it as hard. I'm like, why does he not do that every time? Just go to the just
agreed. Yes,
one dribble, slam the ball. If you, I'll take a charge if they stand there and take some charges. Like, but make
yeah,
them pay for it. Like,
yeah,
just like he's
yeah,
6'5", just a giant muscular 6'10", 250 pound. Just dunk the ball every time.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
not every, you can't every time. They'll figure it out eventually.
Sure, yeah,
They're
but
going to
let them
sag to the
figure it
center
out and
eventually.
take some
Yes,
charges and
yes,
give people
yes.
some
Because in the
bruises, and
fourth
that
quarter, I'll go back
all they
to,
can
there
do
were
then.
at least two, if not three, maybe two, 3-point shots that he took in a close game where he shouldn't have taken them. Like
Yeah,
we had other opportunities, other people open, and your percentage is not good. And you got to be better than that. Next series,
yeah.
you're gonna have to be better in that situation.
Mhm.
Because it is going to
He
come
watches a
down.
little too many Kobe highlights and not enough Giannis.
Yeah.
Giannis
Yes.
downhill, just
Yeah.
tear people's heads off. Like I just don't
Hmm.
get it.
Hmm. Yeah, that would be my only complaint because I will say the rest of the game, rebounding, I mean, 10
Yeah,
rebounds,
I mean,
8
his passing,
assists.
some of his passes out.
Yeah.
He's figured out the double team almost
Hmm.
like
Yeah. No,
like
done a very good
instantaneously
job.
now, which is
Agreed.
huge because that used to be a huge problem. The double team fumble. He passes out of the double team so well now.
Yes.
Um,
But yes,
yeah.
in the fourth quarter, he took 5 3-point shots.
Did he
5.
hit any of them?
One. 1 for 5.
Yeah,
Like, and I just remember
3 for 11
thinking,
for the game.
this is a close game, and you're taking half of your threes or almost half your threes in the fourth quarter, and you've been hitting what
Yeah.
percentage? And thinking to myself, that's just not a good choice. Then he'd come down and he'd make a great pass or a great play and, make up for it. But again,
Hmm.
the future
But even
games,
if
he's
again the
got to be
last one
better.
just drove me up such a wall because even if you're wide open from three, dribble in, take a two. Like
Yeah,
you only need 2 points like to
yeah,
win the game. Just take
yes,
the high percentage shot to win the game. There's no analytics that says any 3-point shot at the end of that game was a good shot.
yes.
Um,
Um, yeah, so that's
any
my
other? All right. Well, closing on the series. Any other takeaways from the series that you can think of?
I think the Pacers team just needs one more piece. They're going to
Yeah,
be a really
they're
good
good.
team. He is a fabulous coach, and their offense, I think defensively, they need a little bit more. And the only thing I didn't really love at times with our offense was picking on Nemhart. Every single time, sometimes it seemed forced. And that
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we've done
yeah.
it to
Well,
other teams where
yeah.
over and over again. And I'm like, well, okay, but there's other people open. Like it was almost like the minute we came down, we looked
Yeah.
who he was on, and that's who we were gonna pass to. And
This
a
is
little
never a
bit
good
too much of
idea.
a
This is never a good idea for any team against almost
agreed.
any player. There's a few where it's like such an obvious
Yeah.
mismatch, or you can get them in the
Yes.
post where it's like,
Yes.
okay. But
Yeah.
how many times have
But
they
to
done this
get
to like Sam Hauser or
yes, to get
Pritchard? I'm like,
stuck.
okay, like if your fourth best player on Sam Hauser, like that's the matchup you want.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Agreed.
Like thanks
But to
for a
get stuck in
rebound.
that mindset is just wrong. It's
Hmm.
not going to work out all the time. And yeah. And there were some you know, forced plays because of it.
Yeah.
So that would be my only complaint. But hey, I think Indiana is going to be fantastic next year. I think their offense is really, really good. They just need some defensive work.
Siakam is a free agent. It sounds like they're going to re-sign him, but
Yes, I would. Last
yeah,
two
he was
games,
good.
I
He
thought,
was really
he
good.
was
Oh my
excellent.
goodness, he couldn't miss.
No, excellent.
Um, takeaway.
So
Now that I mentioned him, my first takeaway. Poor Sam Hauser, just gone cold at the wrong
I
time. Can't hit a
know.
shot. I
Was
mean,
looking at the 2024 season and he's in the top. I can't remember where he fell as far as shoot 3-point percentage for the year.
percentage. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. which is now probably not so good.
Well, I don't know if it
After
counts. I don't know if
this,
playoffs will count
oh,
in
maybe it
that
was just during the regular
statistic.
season. Yeah.
But yeah,
Drew
he
Holiday and Sam Hauser were up there.
I mean on the other end of that, to say Drew Holiday has stepped up big time. I mean, he is
Yes.
like, it's just it goes to show, the guys that show up in the playoffs consistently.
Yes.
Like he's just
Yeah.
a guy that you want on your team as the season comes down.
And Derek
uh
White's defense. What?
yeah,
I mean, he did not shoot well. I will say that at the game. His 3-point percentage was
another
as
streaky
abysmal.
guy.
But his defense, he had 5 steals, 3
At least a few
blocks.
blocks. Yeah.
His defense is just always spot on, and some key blocks and some key steals in the end there. So he's just, I thought, defensively outstanding.
Yeah. Another
Um,
takeaway, I absolutely positively do not want to see Tillman on the floor in the finals.
yeah, I don't get that.
Oh,
What happened to
he
Brissett?
so he played pretty well in the first game post Fournette injury, and then he got bully balled a little bit. They played the Pascal Siakam and
On
Turner
him. That's
lineup,
right, in the game.
and
Yeah,
they
okay.
just
Yeah.
kind of ate him
Yeah.
up. And
Mhm.
but who sometimes you just got to go back to it and say let's try
Yeah,
it
and
again. Like
see, yeah. Because
because
offensively,
Tillman is a
he's so much better.
zero. He adds
Yeah.
nothing. He's
Yeah.
too
Not in
small.
this,
He's not a
not in this
scorer.
kind of game. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he would have been valuable against a Giannis or an Embiid at times, taking
correct,
those hits.
correct,
That's the kind of
correct.
player he is. But Siakam's too skilled for him. And even
Well,
Turner,
yes,
offensively,
yeah,
Turner's very skilled.
yeah,
I agree. We were like, why is Tillman getting these minutes? Yeah.
yeah. It's brutal.
Um,
He was terrible.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I agree. Brissett. I wish he did get kind of bully balled a bit when they put the kind of two big lineup in, but I would have rather just gone back to that and
Yeah.
said,
See what happens. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So things happen for 10-minute
And the only thing
stretches.
I
Try to
can
get in
think
another
of
game.
is that they'll want to put um, Tillman in the next series because they both have some very big, rough guys in the next
Yeah, but
series.
they're not like banging big guys.
No,
They're not like post you up
bounding
guys.
wise a little bit.
He's good
Well,
against
yeah,
a post you
yeah,
up guy, like you said, a
yeah,
Giannis,
yeah,
Tatum.
yeah,
Those are guys are lob threats. And
yeah.
this is the other takeaway that I took from a little bit of that is having Porzingis back for that would be huge. Because I
Yes,
watched most
yes,
of this Mavericks Timberwolves series,
yes,
and you're right. I mean, we're gonna do this podcast assuming it's gonna be the Mavericks if it's currently 3-1. If the Timberwolves make history, we can do another 10-minute podcast if we want to talk about that. But let's do this assuming we are playing the Mavericks in the finals starting next week. Yeah, they have Gafford and what's the rookie? Who's my rookie of the week one year?
Lively.
Good call by me. Lively.
Yeah.
Um,
And they're good.
they're good, but they're not post up. They're not like they're not banging the
Offensively,
paint guys.
no, yeah. But
They're more of a,
defensively,
yeah.
rebounding, yeah.
But I'm saying in terms of the
Lively's
matchup,
really
Tillman,
good with the setup of the dunk.
yeah, well,
He's
yeah,
excellent.
it's the
He's
Luka
excellent.
Kyrie drive into the
Yeah,
lob. And
yeah,
Tillman's again a zero in that situation. He's not
yeah,
big enough. He's not a length guy to, tip those lobs or anything. It's like
yeah,
he's just not the guy for those types for the, the skinny, big shot blocking lob guys.
yeah.
Like you
Agreed.
said, it's more of a big Giannis Embiid bang who we never
Yeah,
saw in the playoffs.
yeah.
Um, but back to my other point, if Porzingis is healthy and can be back, I mean,
Okay.
that's a real game
So
changer.
this is what I wrote down. He has to play game 1. You need to put his name in there at this point that he's playing, because if we can take game 1 home, we need to take game 1 home. And
Yeah.
even if he's practicing and something is pulled and he can't, but you need to play
Oh,
like he's going to play.
uh-oh.
What? You've lost me?
Oh, I lost you. Technical difficulties, people. We've lost Mom.
I had a lot of good things to
Oh,
say.
she's back.
I had a lot of good things to say,
I
so I'm going
got
to
you.
say them again.
You paused right in the middle of we need to win game 1 and
So Porzingis needs to be put on the is playing list, and you need to act and play like he is playing game one. If for some reason in the warm up he pulls something and he can't play, that's fine. But what is going to change 2 days later when we play again? Probably not a lot. So
Correct.
you
Agreed.
now at this point, you're in the finals. If you're going to push and you're going to give a push, a week is not going to make a huge difference in this
Agreed.
kind of injury. So you got to play
Well,
like he's
a
going to
week
play.
might make a difference. You have a
Well, he
week
has
now.
10
But if he's
days.
not, if yeah.
10 days from the last game. That's what I'm saying is I think
But if correct.
mentally you got to act like he's playing. That is going to happen. And if something in that warm up, then you put him back on the injury list. But if we don't get him now in the first couple of games, I mean, when is he really going to be 100% anyway? So you kind
correct.
of have to take that chance in a way. You're in the finals now. And when do you know you're going to be in the finals again? You don't know, right? There could be an injury. We might have the same team next year, but we could have injuries. We could be out the first round due to playing a really good team. You never know. So
Correct.
now you're in the finals, and Porzingis has to step up. Mazzulla, the team has to step up. And I do think you have to say he's going to play unless something unforeseen happens between now and game time. He's going to
Agreed.
play.
Well, I mean, I see it one of two ways because I get what you're saying, but it's also on the other hand, if he's not ready for game one, if he's still hurt, then you have to assume he's not there for the series. Like if he's too hurt to play, I agree with you
That's what I'm
that game
saying,
one is
is
all or
that it's
nothing.
over.
Yes.
It's
not
he's
over. I
not
think
going to
we
be
could beat him without
100% for
Porzingis. I
any
mean,
game. If he's not
yeah,
ready for the next game after all
I
this
agree.
time, he's
Then you have
not
to
going to
just
help
act
in
like yes, that he's
any
not
of the
going to be
games.
there.
So yeah,
We have to be
like
prepared that that's a
yeah.
possibility.
But
I
why
mean, you
not
just don't
play
know.
that head game with them and act 100% positive that he's going to play, right?
Because that's it. Because if he doesn't play, then
Who cares? He pulled it again in the leg. If you say,
yeah,
we don't know, we don't know, we don't know. I just, yeah, I think you've got to go forward, and he mentally has to go forward as he's going to do everything in his power to play on that first game and just set that
sure. But again, you have
pace
to in the back of your
and
head, you have to
then
have a little thing that
backtrack.
says if he doesn't play, we're okay, and we're gonna play our game anyway. And
Absolutely. But we should
yeah,
go forward with we're all going to play, because why at this point would you not? If you cannot play in game one, if you are that hurt, you're probably not going to help us in the series.
well,
Not as much as you should, you know?
the case study for this is Kevin Durant. Same injury, comes back in the finals. What was it, game 3? He looks unbelievable at the beginning of that game. And then the risk with this injury is midway through that game, he tears his Achilles because you're more susceptible to that. And then he's out the whole next year.
Yeah. So you make a decision as a team, you are either going to, because that can
you
happen
ask
in
him, you
game
say, are you playing or
3.
not?
You can do that in game 4. You can do that in game 5. It's all
Agreed.
that week isn't going to make, or week and a half is not going to make a difference.
I'm 100%.
You got to kind of, I don't know, because if he's not up for it through these next few days, you got to adjust and figure out what you're going to do without him.
To be without him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to be a role player. He's only going to come in 10 minutes a game. He's only going to, or he's not going to play at all. And I do think that one, as a team, they have to make that, but also just the message. He is going to try and play, or he isn't. It kind of has to come out within the next week.
Yeah.
You gotta, it's not just a game time decision, because
if you're
mentally
smart,
for the Celtics,
you do.
You think play with them that much?
No. If you're smart, you internally know what the decision is, but you don't tell anybody, because then the Mavericks have no idea if he's going to play.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But I do think you got to make and maybe they already know that, maybe for the team.
Correct. Well, I mean, Woj, who's, Woj never misses. His information is always correct. Said he was looking for game 4, and who knows if because it was 3-0, they said, why risk it? We could give him another week.
Yeah. But again, at this point, like by the time you get to next week, it's
correct.
Like,
but it was sounding for game 4
like
he was close at least, and unless there was a setback by next week, he should be good to go.
Yeah. But if I'm him, you don't know how many. I think I take a chance of the tear.
I agree.
You don't even know at this point how many games, how many finals, how many whatever you
Yeah, you
have
may never
left.
go back to the
You're
finals
there.
again.
This is the
Yeah,
big
yeah,
game.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I
Yeah.
agree. You got to go for it.
So,
If you can,
but I
if
get
he's up
it.
for it.
It's not my career on the line. It's not the year
Yeah,
that I miss.
sure.
It's not the so, but I think you're crazy not
But
to
the
go
other,
for it if
again,
you
the
can.
other side of that is, do you want him to force it if he's hobbled and he's not moving well? And it's like,
Well, if
is he a
he's
plus player at
hobbled and
that
not
point?
no, that's what I mean. If he's hobbled and not moving well, then of course he's
Yeah,
not playing. If
correct.
he's hobbled and not moving well at this point, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
Another week.
agreed.
He's been out a
I think he's,
long time.
yeah, I think he's going to be fine.
I hope so, because you're right. We
I'm
need that piece.
optimistic.
That piece would
Yes.
help us
Well,
tremendously.
the other issue now is Cornette's hurt, which again, people laugh at Cornette, but he's the guy that can play big and he's a
Yeah,
lob threat and he can guard the taller guys. I mean,
yeah,
him to Tillman's a big downgrade that I don't think people realize how
yeah,
much
yeah.
that
That
like that's
wingspan.
just the
Yes, yes,
size matters.
yes,
It's like
yes.
if he can't play either, you're small. You have no big
Because
guys.
because even if he is not the top defender offensively, he makes their bigs work and have to pay attention,
They have to
right? Because he's
sag because they
they
can lob it to him at all times. You
exactly, and
can't
he's
lob to
good. He
Tillman.
is
Tillman is a
extremely good
zero
in there
offensively.
getting a
It's so
lob. Yes,
frustrating.
yes,
Like, what is
yes.
he
You
in
got to
there
guard
for?
him.
What is he
Yeah,
doing?
I don't
Um,
know. I agree. He was a Giannis Embiid cover up, and I thought it was a good trade.
correct.
I think we
Yeah,
needed
yeah, yeah.
somebody like
That's
that. I
fine.
mean,
It's like an
yeah,
insurance policy, but thankfully we
yes,
haven't had to cash in on that. So
yeah,
you don't need to play him.
yeah.
I'd rather see Brissett. I'd rather see is Kata just not, he's out. Like
Was
I'd
he
rather see
hurt?
him.
He's been
I
hurt,
thought
I
he
thought.
was, but I don't know if he's suiting up. I don't know. The
Yeah,
last game says DNP coach's decision for him. It doesn't say hurt.
yeah. I'd put
Um,
him in for a few minutes, wouldn't you? Just to see,
better than Tillman. Like Tillman does nothing.
especially this series when you're up 0-2, 0-3. Why
Yeah,
isn't he getting a
exactly.
few minutes if
Correct.
he isn't
Maybe he is
hurt?
still hurt. I don't know.
Yeah, if he isn't hurt, why isn't he getting a few minutes? I don't know why you
Correct.
would do that.
Agreed. Just
Taking a chance that Cornette and Porzingis are not going to be there. We need to be throwing some bigs in and figuring out what we're going to do.
agreed.
Um,
Um, any other Mavericks analysis you think? If again, I'm just
well,
assuming that that's going to be the
I 100% agree with you. I don't think they'll go 3 more games. Both Kyrie and Luca had terrible shooting percentages last
yeah.
night.
And
They just did not.
I mean,
They did
also
not shoot
just
well, and look how close it was.
also
And they
just in
didn't shoot well.
general, we're talking NBA history. If the Timberwolves come back, it's never been done.
Yes.
Celtics were close
Yeah.
last year, but
Yeah.
it would
And they're
be
very
the upset of all upsets.
they're a great matchup, with the exception of they have the skill of Luca and Kyrie to
Correct. Those
finish it
guys
out.
just scare
And
you. Those guys are just
that's just,
yeah, agreed. I mean,
Edwards
you're
is awesome, but he's 22. And he at times reminds me a little bit of a Tatum who takes it on himself, takes it in 1-on-4, 1-on-3, wears himself out. I mean, there were games when he is exhausted at the end. He's taking the top
correct.
guy defensively. He takes too much on himself. He's
It's
young.
it's just frustrating that he's like the media darling now and can do no wrong, even when he plays poorly and he's just like silence compared to
Yeah,
Tatum who
yeah.
plays poorly and like Stephen A. Smith is on ESPN ready to like throw him off the roof. I'm like,
I
what is happening here? Like,
agreed.
why
Agreed.
do you hate Tatum so much?
I pick on Tatum, but I do not hate how he plays. I just think some of his shot choices could be better. There's a difference there between
Yeah,
hating him.
but it's just why is he
Him,
like we're
without him, we would
Celtics
not be where we are.
correct.
Yeah.
We're Celtic centric, so we're hard on Tatum because we're Celtics. But
Yes.
like I mean, the national media is now like
Yeah.
Tatum's enemy number one, who's like the most
Yeah.
like silent, non like
Yeah.
showboaty guy there is. Like it's just
Yeah.
so bizarre.
I just think they need something to talk about in the East, and he's it,
Sure,
right?
yeah, exactly. And it's like
Because the few
let's pick
things
on the
have come
guy
up
who's
now
lost two
about
games
Jay
all
Brown,
yeah.
Jaylen Brown. Yeah. So I think
Also,
the East has been so,
another bone to pick. So Jaylen Brown won, player of the
yeah.
series for the Eastern Conference. Do you see the vote was 5-4? Who's watching this series and voting Tatum over Brown? Like,
Well,
I thought
I
it
do
was just an
think it
obvious choice.
wasn't,
Brown was
yeah,
fantastic.
agreed. But I do think
Hits
it's
the big
more
shot
than
down the stretch.
just shooting. I think it was also, if you look at Tatum's rebounds and assists, his numbers,
Oh, agreed. Tatum.
number of minutes
Yeah,
played. There's a lot there that if you look at the big picture,
But
you
again,
could
Tatum
see.
had a real stinker in game 2. I'm not saying Tatum
Yeah,
played poorly. I mean,
yeah,
I thought game 3 he had one of the best playoff games he's had in a long time. I mean,
yeah.
just
But definitely without
I just thought it was such an obvious choice for Brown.
Brown,
He hits the huge clutch shot at the end of game
and
1,
without
and he was our
Brown, we
scoring leader in most of
probably
the
would not be
games.
done
Like,
with this series.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, agreed.
I just thought who's like who got done with that series since that Tatum was like,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah. He didn't
And I'm
play
glad Brown won.
poorly.
Now they
Yeah,
each have one, and the
yeah,
Jays are there, and he didn't make All NBA, which is completely ridiculous. Like
yes, yeah, agreed.
the
Did
Lakers and
anybody
Suns
have?
both had 2
Oh,
All NBA players
yeah,
that
I
got
was
in the
gonna
first
say.
round. It's like what?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I was just looking up Stephen A. Did you see that little controversy where he brought up somebody said that Jaylen Brown is not as marketable as some other players at his level.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen A. Was arguing that with somebody else, but Jaylen Brown took offense to it, thinking, who's this source that says that or whatever. But he's also someone that gets dumped on a lot.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, he biggest contract in the NBA. Yeah. Even his
Gets
first
dumped
contract,
on
are like,
a
oh, he doesn't
lot.
deserve that. Yeah.
And it is
Maybe
funny
maybe
because
maybe that can be their bonding.
yeah,
It's not
they're going to the
no one
finals.
no one
They have
gives
more
you too much
playoff
credit. No one
games.
gives me too much credit. They hate us both. We both get slammed.
And really, all in all, they're the most likable, some of the most likable
They just
players.
don't say anything. Like they're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
out there
yeah.
saying anything. They're kind of the
Yeah,
most like boring, like
yeah,
middle of the
yeah,
road kind of guys. Like they don't
yeah,
do anything.
yeah. Good
Tatum just
people
hangs
off
out
the
with Deuce
court.
all day
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Good
does
people
like
off the
Ruffles
court
commercials.
don't
Like
make the
he's
news. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like what?
Yeah, yeah. So funny.
Maybe that's why they're
Um,
angry. They have nothing else to talk about. So they just gotta rile something else, no
yeah.
off the court issues to yell about. Well, the funniest thing was Kendrick Perkins says after I think it was after the bad game 2 that Jaylen Brown was the best player in the Celtics, better than Tatum. And then they brought up his he voted for All NBA. He voted Tatum All NBA first team and didn't vote for Jaylen Brown. It's like I think Jaylen Brown's like
Yeah.
what? You're just saying things at this point. Like
Well,
what?
Perk
Just
is
running out of
terrible
talking
anyway.
points.
Well, they lost game 2 and he said, I'm done with Jason Tatum. Did you hear? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah. He's hilarious. I
one
mean, he just
game.
has
Yeah.
no
It's like
uh
one game.
no,
Why
he
are
has
they
no
even,
yeah, he's just a big overreact guy.
yeah, yeah.
Everyone just yells
Um,
about his clips, and so ESPN likes
yeah.
the
But like us, the reason there was no pressure to podcast is, I mean, we've handled each series
I
pretty
mean, these
well
games have been close.
overall.
These games were at
Yeah,
least exciting, big
but
comeback and overtime game and
yeah,
close last
one
one.
in
But
five, 1-5,
yeah, exactly.
1-4.
We're
So
we're
you know what
now
I mean?
yeah,
It's
we're now
yeah,
12 and
what
2
you
in the
yeah.
playoffs.
So you complain about what you want, but these 3 series have not overwhelmed us at all.
Yes, yeah. The Mavs make me nervous. I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic.
They
Just
they have some good pieces, which they did
yes,
not have. I mean, Gafford is, I think he's playing extremely well. I
yeah,
like
he's been great.
Lively. He's
Lively's been
played
great.
extremely well. I mean, there are other pieces besides
Have
Kyrie,
really
and
stepped up.
they
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
that's,
just
I think,
losing to them would just be so painful. Kyrie winning over us and
I think
me
it's going
just
to be
I trashed the Mavs on this podcast all year for them to beat us
yeah,
in the finals. I'd just be
yeah.
so annoyed.
They've put themselves together well. Our only hope, this is my only hope, is, you know what? Luka is not feeling great. He's got injuries all over his body. And our only hope is that he is even more worn down by the Timberwolves in the next couple games. So by
Well,
the time
also,
they come to us, they are broken down. And that, my hope.
also,
Yeah.
we just have the good defensive matchups against those guys. We play
Yeah.
Kyrie very well. We just have
Yeah.
so many bodies to throw at Luca. So many you can throw.
Yeah.
White,
It
Holiday,
is,
Tatum, Brown. Any of
it
those
is
guys can go up
going
and
to be a tough defensive battle for us. And that is what they need to focus on, because if we
the
go
other side of that.
offensive matchup to offensive matchup and we just don't play defense, they will beat us.
Correct. Oh yeah.
They will beat us. Their shooting
Yes.
percentages
We need to use our defense to win this
individually
game.
are very good. Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
on the other side of that coin is both Luca and Kyrie are not good defensively. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
agreed.
good luck. Either of you trying to guard Jaylen Brown. Good
Yeah,
luck. You're
yeah.
done.
But that's
Can't.
where the other guys come in. The other guys are very good
Sure, but here's the
defensively.
thing: when you have both those guys, when you have Luca and Kyrie, you can have one defensive liability who's kind of the
Yeah,
offensive. But when you have both those guys,
yeah,
it's hard to hide. It's hard to hide two kind of guys that are
yes.
minuses defensively,
And
and
so in that case,
you put them in the pick and roll. You get the switch. I mean, I saw on
yes,
Twitter the other day it was like 5 minute montage of Jaylen Brown torching Luca, and it's just
yeah,
him beating him off the
yes,
dribble and dunking every time. It's like they can't
100%.
guard those guys,
Yes,
and
yes. But
yeah,
they're not
like
going
you
to
said.
put Luca or Kyrie on the Jays.
Yeah,
Those aren't going to
but
be the
again,
people
you
on the
can't
Jays.
hide eventually. When you do too many
Yeah.
pick and rolls, you can get
Yes.
the switch
Yeah.
you want, and then
Yes.
you get
If
one
we
of
do
those
the pick and
matchups.
rolls.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just got to keep passing the ball and we got to keep playing the
Correct,
way that we
correct.
have
And
been.
play an
That's
off.
going to
Yeah,
be
you
the
can get the
key.
matchups you want eventually, especially when both those
Yeah.
guys are on the floor.
Yeah.
Again,
But
like you
their
said, the
in-lane
issue.
defense is not bad.
No, the other side of that coin is that's fine, and us against their defense, I'm not worried about. But you can't trade basket for basket with them
No, no,
because you
that's what
might
I'm
lose
saying
that.
is, yes, you are. You got to wear them
Yeah,
down defensively.
correct.
Otherwise, I wouldn't want to match up person for person with Kyrie and Luca and go
But
for an offensive
wear them
battle.
down offensively too.
Well, the Timberwolves are
Make
wearing them
those
down
guys
for
guard.
us. I'm hoping they win the
But
next
also
one.
make those guys guard. Like
Hmm.
that's like put those make Luca bang in the post with Tatum a couple
Yeah.
times and see how he feels after that kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
I have to give him credit. He has worked his butt off. He is tired at the end of every
Even
single
defensively, he's
game.
been good. He's
Yes,
stepped
he
it
has
up.
worked. Yes, he has worked extremely
I
hard.
I do have to eat some of my words on that team. I was bashing them all year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they've
Well,
come
would
together.
I have thought that that team would be playing in the finals or have the potential to play in the finals? No.
Well, we should have known that Luke is one of these guys, one of these Jimmy Butlers who's going to cruise through the regular season and then
Yeah.
crank it up. I mean, he might get that reputation soon as one of those playoff guys that kind of cruises through the regular season and
Yeah.
really decides to crank it up come time when it's important.
Yeah.
So maybe we should have seen this coming, but I did not. That's for sure.
He is definitely being patched up, though. He's got a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
little
I
nagging
mean,
injuries. So
hard to
it's gonna
say.
be,
I don't know.
yeah, that's gonna be
He's always
interesting.
limping, and then as soon as he has the ball, he looks fine. I'm like,
Oh,
okay, well,
he's
wait a
like
second.
he's like Jokic though. Like
That's what I'm saying.
when he
They're just
shoots,
like
it's not like an
clunky.
Anthony Edwards who full body goes in, shoots.
Yeah,
It's
just
almost like
fantastically
a
athletic.
shoot,
Yeah,
just like his arms only is, and hucks it up, but he doesn't need the rest of his body. It's a very, very different physical level for the two. So it cracks
yeah,
me up. It's like, did he just do that? And all of a sudden he'll turn and it's just with the flick of the arm and the three goes in.
yeah.
No body movement, no bumping, no nothing. It's just,
Also,
oh, now.
all the other thing is, although we've exercised some of our late game demons, I do not want to be in a close game with those guys,
As I
coming
say,
down to score.
it's gonna be, you want to
Like,
be in a
can we just
tie
whoop their
game
butts,
with
please? Yeah.
Kyrie, who has, oh my gosh, watch him play lately. He's
He's like
unbelievable.
reinvented himself too. It's just
Oh,
unbelievable. It's
the
like,
shots he gets off
again, I've said
between
this
three
before,
defenders is
but if
amazing.
you
Is amazing.
when they both left the Nets, if you told me that Kyrie would be in the finals playing amazing before Kevin Durant, I would have called you crazy.
Yes. Yep.
Uh,
No,
but he
no,
has
he's got
completely
it together.
reinvented
He looks
himself. It's
great.
unbelievable.
Looks like
Yeah.
no injuries, no,
No.
still a defensive liability. But quick hands. He had some steals.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
had, I mean, it
exactly.
wasn't like he was
He
a
can
complete joke. He's,
he can make you pay, especially when he's
yes,
trying.
yes. But anyway, yes, I agree with you. I think the Mavs are going to win because I just don't think the Timberwolves have it in them to win 3 more games.
I mean,
I
just
think
the
the Luca Kyrie
it's just
team
a
is
numbers
gonna,
game. You
yeah,
hit
yeah,
enough shots for one
yeah.
game and you bounce
So
them.
the hope is
Which I mean, for me to
at
be fair,
least
is
wear
I
them out
kind
for
of
1 or 2 more games.
yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah,
You kind of want to what?
one more knee to Lively's head. Do us some good.
Yeah, could we have a little more wearing them out?
Um,
Speaking of, you had brought up Butler. Have you heard the rumor about the Sixers really, 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 really trying to get him?
Oh, really? Is that a
Yeah, they
thing?
want to offer him a max extension. They're
They
trying to
had
get him.
him.
Yeah, that's what I
Stupid.
said.
Let him
I think
go.
so. I was
Um,
just kind of digging
I
down,
mean, that'd be good for
and it's
them,
in
but
more than one outlet. I'm thinking the same thing. Like, what are they doing? Yeah, yeah.
so well, they
I mean,
just they're just one so relieved that Tobias Harris contract's over, but
yes, he was.
two, they because of that they have the cap rooms. They're after everybody. They want Paul George. They want LeBron if he's going to be a free like any kind of wing that they can put in that spot. They're trying to get right now. So
Yeah,
I don't see Jimmy
and
leaving the Heat unless they're
I
kind of
don't
forcing
either.
him out, which I
They
doubt.
seem to have a little bit of chemistry. I think.
What?
I said they seem to have a little bit of chemistry.
But did you see Pat Riley after the season?
No, what did he say?
He went off on everybody.
He
He had a
did.
press conference. Yeah, he said because you see
Could there
Jimmy
be more
Butler said
people
like
hurt?
what? Well,
There
yeah,
be
but did you see Jimmy Butler after the series said if I was healthy, Boston would be at home, like Philly would be at home, um, just like someone he said that somewhere I don't remember. But then Pat Riley at a press conference, he said, "If you're not playing, I think you should keep your mouth shut." He's like, "We
Is
just
that what
lost
he
in the
said?
first round. How about you shut up, dude?" Um,
Yeah,
but then he
yeah,
also he also called Tyler Hero fragile and said he's hurt too much and needs to like work on his diet. It was crazy. He went after everybody. He's like, "We're not
yeah,
losers around here. We're not calling it a success because we're a ragtag team that won a game." Like
yeah. Um, yeah, I had read they were trying to get rid of Hero in a few
they've been
ways
trying to
by
get
his
rid of Hero for like 3 years.
contact. Yeah,
He's just not a Pat Riley guy.
yeah. But they made the same mistake with Duncan Robinson. Like, hello,
Well, Hero's
both
better
of
than Duncan Robinson, but
defensively. I don't think it. Yeah,
no, just
yeah,
ball
I'd agree.
handler.
Yes,
I
yeah,
mean, he can make plays by himself. Duncan Robinson can only shoot. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
he can't make
But I still
Tyler Hero
think
can get his own shot off.
they're both a very big mistake. I don't know. I
Agreed.
just both of them are.
I mean, Pat Riley's a
Um,
savage. He'll trade anybody. He'll get the team going. I mean, I love
and
him. Should
then
hate
one
him,
more,
Lakers
another rumor.
guy, but
Oh no, I love that whole system. I think they do a great
he's
job.
unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's no, I
Coach,
just mean
owner,
he's the
manager.
the
Yeah,
the bane of the Celtics existence, but
yeah, yeah.
he's
No, I
unbelievable.
love
He's
that whole
cutthroat as
world.
they come.
Clippers rumor. They're interested in Chris Paul. What?
Hmm. That was the
What?
Lakers, I thought. Now I thought for the Lakers. Maybe
I
Clippers
don't know
too. Who
what to say.
cares?
I don't know. But still, both Clippers and Lakers. Why? I like Chris Paul. I like him as a person, but did they not watch him play?
Yeah, I mean, if
He
you can
didn't
get like
shoot
a
well. He didn't, I mean, he's okay at this point, but he's
yeah,
old.
he's like a vet. You want to play him like 10 minutes a game or something,
Yeah,
sure, but like
I don't,
yeah,
yeah, it's just very,
I
very
don't know.
interesting. That's all. Some of these, I'm just like, what?
Yeah, free
That is
agency. There's
not the
gonna be some
piece you
moves.
need. And the Cavs fired Bickerstaff.
Kind of silly. I mean,
Yeah, I thought so too. Like,
the only thing I can think of is they're trying to keep Donovan Mitchell, and maybe he didn't like him, and so it's kind of a
yeah. I mean, they had so
star
many
frustration
injuries. How do
trade.
you base, once again, Allen was out for the whole series.
Yeah.
Mitchell was out for a couple games.
Well,
You
Allen's
know,
going to be a free agent, I think. So I don't know if he'll be there next year. And Mitchell's been, rumored to be on his way out of Cleveland. So who knows what's going to go on there? There's
yeah, yeah. Very
um,
interesting though.
a lot of teams that have big changes that are potentially
I
on
mean,
the
with
way.
all his injuries, he still made it to the semifinals, the team and the coach. So just very
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Very interesting. All right.
All
That's it. I
right.
guess we had more to say than I thought we did.
Yeah, we're back in the finals. I'm so nervous. I'm like a mess.
It's not
Like
going to be
anytime I think of it, I
easy.
get like a little sick in my stomach.
It's
I'm like, oh, I
not
just
going to
can't
be
take another
easy.
finals loss. Just can't take a
Yes.
loss here. We need to win this.
The press.
Yeah, losing
Can you
would be so
imagine
brutal.
being Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown?
Oh, I know.
I can't
They're in
imagine.
for it.
Oh,
Oh
poor
my God, I
things.
can buy
The
perk just
press.
all summer.
And my
Listen
only
to
worry is, I don't want to belittle the East, but I will belittle the East. You won the series pretty handily, not game to game, but
Mm-hmm.
overall they won it pretty handily. So it is that first game is gonna be hard mentally, physically. If you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
ever turn your intensity up, you better do it game one.
Yeah.
Be ready because they're coming after you and they're gonna, they're used to some very gritty games.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's the
I
intensity is what I worry about.
anytime like there's like a million statistics out there that say like the Celtics are so fantastic. Like I saw, I think it was Bill Simmons posted the other day all the teams that have won or lost let 20 games or less before the finals. Um Regular season and postseason. So we were like, what, we lost 18 games regular season, then we've lost 2 in the postseason. So we have 20 losses. So all the teams that have total 20 losses or less that going into the finals, and they've all won the finals, and they're all like historically good teams, like the
Yeah.
Warriors with Kevin Durant. There's like 2 Jordan teams in there, the Heat with LeBron. And I'm like, this gives me zero confidence. Like we'd
Well,
be the
because this
team
was
to
a
have all
weird,
that and
but this
lose.
was a weird, the West was much more stacked than the East
Sure.
overall. I mean, and
Yeah.
those games were tougher. It was a fight in the end to be in certain
Yeah.
seeds. So, it's just, I think, a different animal with a lot
Sure.
of close
But just
games over there.
any of these statistics, we have the number one offensive efficiency of all time. Like none of this gives me any confidence. Like all this tells me is we're gonna blow it. Like we're gonna be the
We
team
aren't going to
that
blow it. We aren't. I'm telling you right now, we're not going to blow it. It is going to be absolutely amazing.
like well,
And we have the
everything on
level
paper tells
head.
me we should
We
win.
have
We
the
should beat the
level head
Mavs.
of Drew Holiday. We have the level head of Drew
Yes,
Holiday.
he's been
We
great.
have the
He
the
has been
level
great. He's been
head
a
of Derek
godsend.
White. We have the
Al
guy with the
Horford.
Jays. Yes. So,
Al Horford has the
um,
most or the third most playoff games of any player not to win a championship. I'm like, oh boy.
now
It's
let's
all
get
just
him over that. Come on, help Al out. I do worry about Al a little bit. I'm like, we need some people coming off the bench to give him a little bit of
right. I mean, Porzingis,
rest.
if
He
he can be
cannot be
back and he
hurt.
can be
Yes.
a real, healthy player, I mean, that would be
Doesn't that put
good
everything
luck.
in a different perspective? Our whole team.
Yeah. Well,
Just
that's
that
the other thing.
one
Well,
piece.
everyone talks about the injuries in the East. It's like, hey, people,
Yeah. 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 And you
Porzingis has
don't
been out for us
realize,
the whole playoffs. What do we
yeah.
like? Why does no one mention
Unicorn.
this?
He was a yeah, yeah. He was a
Why does no?
unicorn
Yeah,
all year long. Well, the unicorn's
correct.
out and we still
Yeah. Oh,
won.
he's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
X factor for the Celtics. He's been
yeah.
such a big difference for them.
Yeah.
All
No
we
one's
heard all
mentioned
year, and
that.
then yeah, no
Can't
one says
believe
a
the
peep.
Celtics have made it without their unicorn.
I know. Halliburton was hurt, and Butler was hurt. Mitchell was hurt. It's like, how about our guy, our
Yeah.
third top scorer that was hurt all playoffs, and we
Yeah.
didn't know. We
Yeah.
didn't skip a
Yeah.
beat here. Like,
And he
come on.
does more than scoring, right?
Rim
Rim
protection is
protection at
huge.
times, but also just one more person or, one more 7-foot person that you got to figure out how to guard. I mean, that just throws teams.
Correct.
So there's a lot of
The
things that
oop,
he
the
gives
alley
you.
oop, the
Yeah.
lob
You
threat.
got to protect. Yeah.
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 And
So it's not just
also
about
not
his
have
scoring numbers, it's having to worry about him.
yeah.
That will throw teams off.
The other thing that would be nice is not having to pay Al Horford 40 minutes a game. Like
Yes. Agreed.
get
That's why I
him a
say
little
we
get
got to
him a little
protect him.
fresher.
Yes,
Um
100%. And he's looked good,
oh, he's like
offensively.
fantastic. I mean, 7 threes,
Yeah, yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah,
But at times he is tired. You can tell
yes,
he's out there
yes. He's a
working
little
his butt
step
off.
behind those young guys at times. I mean, it's just not
Yeah.
quite
But
there.
if you get him to
But all in
20
all,
minutes a
solid.
game
Yeah,
and he's fresh, I mean,
yeah,
he can be an X factor too, more than he is
yes,
now, and really leave it all out there.
yeah, agreed. We got some things to do, and Porzingis is going to be a big push. As far as I'm concerned, you're playing. I'm just say that right now. Missoula, he's playing.
Porzingis is in. Mom made the call.
Not sure what you're waiting for.
Active.
So you might tear your Achilles. I mean,
I
what?
agree. I mean, if I try to put myself in my head in his shoes, when are
Yes.
you going to be back
Oh,
in the
no.
finals? You have a chance to win a
100%.
championship. A real
Yeah.
good chance.
Yeah. Yeah. I would take the chance, I think. But again, it's not my Achilles. It's not my career we're talking about. Some people don't come back completely from those injuries. So,
Mm-hmm.
I 100% get it. But you are in the finals. So if there's a chance and you really want it, figure it out. Take some anti-anxiety meds
Mm-hmm.
and give it a chance. That's what I say. Unless they're just stringing us along and he's not playing at all anyway, right? There's a chance. There's a chance he may come back in game 4, and they know he's not coming back at all. If that's
Let's see.
if that's
See
the
what
case,
Twitter has to say.
can you just tell me now? So I can get over this anxiety and rework things in my head.
All right. As of 2 hours ago,
Yeah.
Missoula interview said that Porzingis is, quote, ramping up his intensity level ahead of the NBA Finals. No idea what that means. That tells
Yeah.
us nothing.
No, because he's out. They're always asked, "What does he say?"
Yeah, of
I don't
course.
know. I don't know. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we've just
That's
about
it.
covered it before Celtics are back in the NBA Finals.
We got a long time to wait. I can't take it.
I know. It was brutal.
It's like that's the problem with sweeping. Damn Celtics sweeping.
But we'll be here for all of it. I'm back in Argentina. I'll be settled. I'll be so and we have more days in between games. So we'll be podding probably. We'll get one in each game, I think, this time. Again, do I say that every round? Yes.
Well, I
But
say
it's the
our next
finals
one
now.
will probably be just
After
before
game
the
1.
series starts.
You think? Why though? You kind of said it
Well, we
all.
can talk
What do you wanna
about
say? As I said,
Porzingis, his report.
sure.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see
I might have
what
some
if any
stuff to
news
say.
comes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe we get some Mavericks stuff in the next game or two, and
Well,
who
Missoula
knows? Yeah,
needs to
we'll see.
hear us pumping him up before the game.
Psycho Joe. Psycho Joe.
He's got some haters. He's got some haters,
He
just like
does.
everybody in
Not
the
me.
Celtics.
Check the
Well,
record. I've been a defender all year, Joe.
yeah, I'm not sure at this point how you can hate anybody on the Celtics.
Yeah.
I really am.
But we'll be here for it. You can find us as usual, all platforms at Shamrock Talk Pod on Twitter, at Shamrock Talk on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the platforms. Nervous. Never not going to be nervous until the confetti falls one way or the other.
Don't be nervous.
And
It's
I'll
going to be
be
amazing.
depressed or,
No,
lose my mind either way.
It's going to be great. We're going to be the solid platform that Celtics bounce off. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, man. Well,
Go Celtics.
go Celtics.